Food Explorers. My name is Dani and I'm a registered dietitian nutritionist with an undergraduate degree in food science and human nutrition and a master's degree in health communications. If you've watched my videos before, you know I usually just speak directly to you, but today I'm answering your questions about keeping your produce safe during this time when we have this COVID-19 virus. And so I'm going to use my laptop to make sure that I don't forget a single question and that I don't miss any details about answering them. So I'm going to break these videos down into three. The first video was about a little background information about viruses to help you understand the tools and tips that I recommend. So I suggest you watch that one. I also have a video that gives you bottom line tips on how to keep your food safe. So background and general ideas on how to keep your produce safe. And then today's video is answering the questions that you sent me. So this video is a Q&A for keeping food safe, and I'm here to help you. So if you have any more questions, please send me a message, send them my way, and I will do my best to answer or research if I don't know the answer for you. Also, please consider sharing this video with somebody else who might find it helpful. So today, here are the answers to the questions that you have asked me. But first, I want to start by giving you something to know, a big thing, a big key to know. Viruses can live on different surfaces for different lengths of time. And it depends on the temperature, the humidity, and the actual surface itself. Also, if it's bright, if it's airy. So viruses can live on copper and wood up to 4 hours, aluminum up to 8 hours, cardboard up to 24 hours, 3 days on plastic or metal, and up to 5 days for glass, ceramic, and paper. So this is the most up-to-date information as of March 28th, 2020, and that is the information that I've gotten from the Center for Disease Control and the World Health Organization. So the first question I always get, and this is a question that I also answered in my bottom line tips, is can I use soap to wash produce? And the answer is it's not necessary, but you can if you really feel like you would want to. But first, before you clean any before you consume or want to use any produce, wash your hands for 20 seconds very vigorously. If you decide that you'd like to wash your produce with soap, which again isn't my #1 choice or recommendation, but you could, do not use your sink. Your sink is dirty, it's filled with bacteria. Do not wash your produce in a sink. You should put it in a large bowl, or you can even clean it in your spaghetti pot. So if you are going to use soap, use 1 to 2 drops and make sure that the water is warm. I think I mentioned in my previous videos, 77 degrees Fahrenheit, 25 degrees Celsius, and then you want to clean that produce vigorously. But the thing is that using soap may destroy some of that virus. And it could be helpful. As we know from the background video, viruses have this fat layer around it that protect it. So using soap and hot water and scrubbing vigorously can help break down that fat layer. But a better idea, if you can afford the shelf life, is leave that produce out in a warmer, dry area that's bright to give that time for that virus to break down itself. Remember, a virus needs a host, and without a host, it starts to break down by itself because it's not a living organism. All right, last thing to remind you about that is don't forget to wash your hands and then wash your produce. Okay, how long does the virus last on produce? Well, that information is actually not known at this time. But I will say that all the research right now does not support that the virus is spread through food exposure. So what I will say with that is that if you are somebody who is immune suppressed or immune compromised, then I would suggest cooking your produce, especially with soft skin, or switching to canned or frozen produce. Those will definitely be more safe because then you don't have to worry if they were contaminated or not. Just making sure that you're practicing good health hygiene when you are handling those, the plastic bags or the aluminum cans. So the next question, does washing produce kill the virus? That's a really good question. Well, No, actually, washing produce does not kill the virus. If you go back to the background video, we know that we need to either destroy that protein in the virus, or we need to physically remove that fat layer that protects the protein of the virus. But what does cleaning produce do? Cleaning produce helps with the physical removal of bacteria, debris, and any pathogens that might be on the produce. The virus can only be broken down by removing that fat layer with heat and soap, or the protein broken down by alcohol, bleach, hydrogen peroxide, and all those things are inedible and not recommended. So again, these recommendations are the recommendations of the Center for Disease Control at the present time. Today is March 28th, 2020. Okay, next question. Can you get the virus if someone with the virus coughed on a head of broccoli and then you ate it? Possibly, it's possible, but this type of transmission has not been recorded yet as a means of getting the virus at this time. So remember, always wash your hands before touching any produce, because if you had any of that virus material on your hands and then you touch the produce, you could then transfer it to the produce. And then always wash your produce before eating it under clean, cool, running water. And when in doubt, if you are really concerned, cook it. Or switch to frozen or canned options, which are very nutritious and delicious. And I also have a post on how to make your frozen veggies taste good if you need any tips for that. Okay, does soaking fruits and veggies help get rid of the virus? The answer is no, not unless it is soaked in hot water, like really hot water, and the fat layer is destroyed and melted away. But again, washing vigorously could definitely help with that. One thing that I like to suggest is to use a veggie brush, not a sponge. Sponges harbor a lot of bacteria that can give you a foodborne illness and make you sick, so we never want to use a sponge. You could use another kind of brush in the kitchen that has these kind of bristles. Make sure it's nice and clean before you use it. But on fruits and vegetables that have really tough skin, that's a really nice way to kind of get any of that extra bacteria debris off and then maybe kill some virus. So how do I eat something with a peel like a banana? First thing you do is you wash your hands for 20 seconds under warm soapy water, and then you can clean the peel of the banana underwater. And if it's for someone who is at high risk, what I would say is, instead of just going for and peeling and eating the banana or touching the banana, what you can do is peel the banana. You can let that banana, without touching the banana flesh, fall into a bowl. So none of the banana peel or skin has touched the actual flesh of the fruit. And then you can wash your hands again and slice up the fruit. So the same goes for, say, an orange. You can wash your hands, wash the orange, peel the skin, let it fall into a bowl, and then wash your hands again. And then that might be a little overzealous in taking precaution, but hey, you do what you need to do to keep you and your family safe. Okay, next question is, should I use bleach or chlorine to clean produce? No. These chemicals can make you sick. Please do not clean your produce in any chemicals. Should I quarantine food? Well, that is an option. Remember, I talked about at the start of this video how long the virus lasts on different surfaces. Now, we don't know how long exactly these viruses last, or this virus lasts on fresh produce. So we don't have an exact amount of time, but the idea behind letting the virus break down on its own over time is the idea behind why you would quarantine your food item. What I would caution against, and I've seen some additional questions about this, is food safety. Food safety first, because if you don't keep your hot foods hot and your cold foods cold, then you could get a foodborne illness and cause a lot of GI upset, in addition to potentially getting the virus. So please make sure you're practicing good food safety. But if you are concerned about the food, you could certainly try quarantining it. I don't have an exact amount of time, but based on other surfaces, you could quarantine it for 24 hours, you could quarantine it for 72 hours, but again, before you eat it, always wash your hands, then wash the produce, and then prepare it or consume it however you decide to. All right, lastly, one more tip. If you are using a reusable grocery bag when you shop, make sure you are washing it in hot water in between your grocery trips. So, thank you so much for listening. I hope you found these tips helpful. Again, if you have any more questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to me and ask them. I just want to let you know that I have a bunch of free resources on my website, www.experiencedeliciousnow.com. And if you go under the freebies tab, there are lots of great resources for you and your family to help you eat more produce, help you have fun with food, and activities for your kids. So until next time, thank you for joining me in search of delicious.